Hey everyone, I'm Terry G. Thanks a lot for stopping by. If you could take a second, please subscribe, take another second and hit that like button. What we're going to talk about in this video, we're going to talk about loneliness in early sobriety. And when I talk about early sobriety, I mean about a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years, or maybe even longer. But mainly, I want to talk about this overwhelming feeling that a lot of people get in recovery. And that overwhelming feeling, a lot of times, and I hear it a lot around people, like-minded people, they talk about feeling lonely. It's almost like a painful loneliness. And I can really identify that because I used to walk home from meetings and just about in tears because I dreaded going back to my apartment because I felt so alone. I felt so alone. And I'm going to point out a few things why you feel so alone. And I'm going to point out a few things towards the end of the video, how to get out of that loneliness. And they're really effective ways and they worked for me. The first one I want to talk about why we feel so lonely is that our social network, our connections have to die in recovery, especially in early recovery. We have to make that drastic decision to get rid of our friends and stop going to our old drinking haunts, for lesser words. And that is a big, big decision we have to make. In order for me to get recovered or started my recovery journey, I had to stop hanging around my people. And I had a lot of people that I had to give up seeing because I drank heavily and drugged heavily for many years. So I had an army of people that I had to sort of let go, leave behind, for lesser words. So that whole social network, that whole social connection had to change in order for me to sober up. So would anybody feel lonely if that happened to them? Of course, of course. And if that happened to you, that's one of the main reasons you're probably feeling lonely, because you are alone. You had to give up all that. And so did I. And I felt out, like I felt on my own. The next one is that alcohol itself becomes our best friend. When it came to drinking, I drank all the time. I drank when I was nervous. I drank for social lubricants, so I felt better at the discos or the dance parties or picking up a girl. It helped me control my anger. It helped me talk bluntly to people. It helped me get over my fear, soothe my problems. So giving up alcohol was like giving up my best friend. I didn't know that, but that's what it was like. I had to grieve in some sort of way to let that alcoholism life go, to stop, thinking like that was the cure for my worldly problems or for my problems. So, it's kind of a shock to you mentally, emotionally, and physically. It really is. Giving up the booze. Basically, it turned my life upside down. It really did. Because I didn't realize how reliant I was on alcohol. I was super reliant on it to run my life. So giving that up left a big void in my life, in my internal life mainly, and also in my external life. Another reason that really made me feel different or separated me from people is my emotions. When I quit drinking, I was very angry, full of guilt, full of shame, full of hurt, full of regret, full of depression, all those sort of things, that negative feelings. And when I walked into a room or I went to see my family or I did certain things in my life, and one of those feelings would come up or a couple of them would come up, I would feel disconnected from the world around me, people, places, and things, because I felt like my emotions were doing that to me, were making me feel weird or making me feel disconnected. So because I was so emotionally distraught or emotionally unregulated or feeling a lot of hurt and pain and grief, I felt lonely. I felt like I was the only one like that. So my emotions had a part to do with my loneliness. They really did. And why am I making this video? Why am I doing this anyways, this video? I just want to tell you why. It's because loneliness when it comes to addictive people in alcohol, with alcohol addiction, loneliness can lead to feeling like a victim. It can lead to hopelessness. It can lead to feeling depressed, anxiety, and the most last one, the one that I want you to stop, hopefully you don't do, with when you feel loneliness and you go through those stages I just mentioned, like feeling hopeless, feeling like a victim, you start feeling depressed, sobriety's not worth it. Some people, or a lot of people, will see that as a trigger, or maybe think of it after as a trigger and go back to drinking. They will relapse because the loneliness will be so unbearable. That's why I'm making this video, because it can be so overwhelming. The only relief we can seek is the drink. And I did that, and that's why I'm bringing it up in this video. When I felt so lonely, that's what I did. I went out and had a drink. It soothed me, it relaxed me, it filled me up again. I felt a part of the world, I felt calm, I felt like things were worthwhile, and I passed out, went to bed, and woke up the next day, and everything was back to normal. It really was. And feeling it is normal. And I think I said that in the early part of this video, right? That loneliness can be a big trigger for people in recovery. I've heard it a million times, and I've seen people react to their loneliness, get involved in relationships that are unhealthy, make decisions for themselves for they don't feel so lonely. And one of those decisions really is always, the main one is get involved with somebody, for it kind of fills us up. It makes us feel not so lonely, makes us feel whole again. And I did that, and I made huge wrong decisions because I felt so alone all the time. But what can you do? And the last one that I did for this video is I went to counseling to deal with my emotions, to deal with past trauma, past hurt, things that I was dealing with in my life that I felt different, that I felt separated from my fellows. I went to counseling and talked about it. And it helped me a lot with past trauma, feeling guilty, feeling overwhelmed with my life because of the things I did while I was drinking, things that happened in my past that I needed to deal with. It was an eye-opener. And after I started to feel better about my inside life, I started to feel like more connected with the world around me, believe it or not. I wasn't so self-absorbed with me. So going to counseling can help immensely. Another one is you can always volunteer. If you go to 12-step programs, Smart Recovery, you can always get involved with people there and with volunteering. You can show up, make coffee, set up the rooms early, and start talking to people. You got to start putting yourself out there for you don't feel like you're a victim or life is hopeless. The only way to do it is take an action and get involved and start building connection with the world around you. That's one of the best ways to help you with your loneliness. But I'm just going to leave you with this. Feeling lonely in early recovery is normal, okay? Reacting to it in a relapse way, feeling depressed, anxiety, hopeless, going out for a drink is not, okay? We have to change one thing in early recovery, and that's everything. People, places, and things need to change. And we need to work on changing those things in a positive way, bringing new experiences into our life, bringing new actions into our lives, and new ways of coping with life on life terms in order to start feeling whole again. And let me tell you something, it will come slowly but surely. You will feel less lonely as time goes on. But you got to get out there and you got to participate and stop thinking about yourself so much, because it's normal. It really is. You're not too special, but you may feel special, but you're really not. Just get out there and participate in your life. Start building healthy connections to other people, places, and things, and your life will change unequivocally, it will change. Okay? My name is Terry G. If you can take a second, please subscribe, take another second, and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. This is an alcohol-free life where we learn to live sober one day at a time. Ciao for now, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.